My digital cuento is titled Querencia and Motherhood, the Insistence of Belonging. This project focuses on 6 pláticas of Chicana mothers and how they build on their own sense of belonging in New Mexico and beyond to create a grounded sense of belonging in their children. Each mother identified a different city, neighborhood, or pueblo in which their querencia originated: Boyle Heights, Cherry Valley, Taos Pueblo, Albuquerque, El Rancho, South Valley, and southern Los Angeles. To belong is to know. A sense of place or a love of home is what Esteban Arellano referred to as querencia. He writes, quote, "Querencia is a place where one feels safe, a place from which one's strength of character is drawn, where one feels at home, but querencia doesn't always imply place, for it can also be a certain time of the day, a certain type of weather, music, art, literature, food, taste, or smell," end quote. Querencia is a love of home, but Arellano explains that querencia is more than just about knowing where you are from. There are those who are privileged enough to grow up rooted in their ancestral land, and there are others who must form new ways of belonging grounded in wherever they are. Regardless of how the mothers grew up, the mothers in these pláticas operate with an awareness that their lived experience is subjugated knowledge by mainstream standards, but for them it is the wisdom that they instill in their children. The result is twofold: reinforcement and expansion of the mother's querencia, and passing on the family's oro del barrio, which is the subjugated knowledge that is their cultural wealth, to the next generation. In each of the pláticas, I found that their thought process and practice are intentional and even structured. As the mothers share their methods for fostering querencia, their active response to concerns of identity revealed themes of Resolana as a process and how they go about engaging children with place. They recognize a need or interest, they engage their children in dialogue, and they take actionable steps that cultivate querencia. For example, the mother from South Valley teaches querencia through insisting that her kids participate in recreational sports in her childhood neighborhood. She explains, quote, "I want him to go learn self-defense and all the values in a safe place. I don't want it in a white space. It has to be in a space where there's people that look like him and talk like him." So we go into the South Valley. I want him to know that's where his mom was born. I want him to build community where I was raised, in our language and in a safe place with people that look like us. The racial stuff is there at the end of the day. The South Valley is predominantly more impoverished than the rest of the areas of the city, and I will insist on going to karate in the South Valley. I will insist on whatever kind of extracurriculars we're going to do will be in the South Valley. When he's a grown man and he's out in the world, he can say, "My family is Mexican and I'm from the South Valley and I love being from there. It takes a lot of effort, but I'm choosing to insist," end quote. Resistance and activism are achieved through conscious yet small decisions that impact the trajectory of one's ideology about the self. Her son's experience would be different if she took him to a gym close to their home. Her insistence on self-discipline and team building being taught to him by his community is the container in which he will develop querencia. Collectively, their message is this: querencia through motherhood is rooted in kinship and placemaking through a relationship with Mother Earth. This relationship is reciprocal, and therefore they bear a responsibility of stewardship rooted in love of place and for the sake of preserving culture for future generations. Chicana mothers insist on teaching their children about belonging through traditional practices, conversation, agriculture, storytelling, ceremony, nature, travel, language, play, and embracing the multiplicity of belonging. They are committed to raising children who will grow to understand their ancestral culture and the essence of their being. When they are rooted in querencia, American societal misrepresentations and judgments have no bearing on their deep sense of belonging, a sense of belonging that has been tenderly protected and carefully curated throughout childhood for generations. In conclusion, belonging is complicated. I envy those who can boldly point to a geographical location on a map and claim, "This is where I'm from." However, I've come to realize that the longing so many feel is actually normal and not an indicator of whether or not we belong, but that we do belong in more than one place. I know that my querencia lies in the gateway cities of southern Los Angeles and the barrio of Northside in Fort Worth, Texas. It is because of my childhood querencia that I have the courage needed to cultivate querencia in the many cities that I have lived in since. And this bravery is what I instill in my children.